Hello fellow geeks and gadget lovers, welcome back to another unboxing session at KLGadgetGuy. My name is Warren and today we are going to unbox a new smartphone. Introducing the vivo X5max. So the X5max is the world's thinnest smartphone at 4.75mm thin. However, the one in Malaysia is not that thin. In fact, it is the 5.08mm thin model, which is still considered extremely thin for a smartphone, but it features more features than the Oppo R5 at 4.75mm, which includes microSD expansion as well as a 3.5mm headphone jack. So, without further ado, we are going to unbox the X5 Max right now. Now, let's talk about specs. So the X5 Max has a 5.5-inch Super AMOLED Full HD display, and if we were to compare with the Oppo R5, it has a 5.2-inch Super AMOLED display, which is relatively smaller and with more pixel density. However, the X5 Max 400 pixels per inch display will not be able to let you to tell the pixels because it's so dense that you won't be able to differentiate pixels anymore. Right, so we have a 30 megapixel rear camera and a 5 megapixel front facing camera, which is similar to the Oppo R5. And the CPU is the same with a Snapdragon 615 1.7 GHz octa-core processor with 64-bit processing power. And memory-wise, we have 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of built-in storage. Unfortunately, without microSD expansion. I hope the description is a bit wrong because 16 GB is really not enough for a smartphone right now. So without further ado, I'm going to unwrap the plastic and take the phone out of the box. There you go, here's our vivo X5 Max smartphone. And look at that bezel, why does the bezel feel so thick? Anyway, let's talk about the phone's hardware later and check out the contents inside the box. So let's take up this cover and we're going to take a look at this box. So let's open it up. Wow, vivo includes a casing, just like the Lenovo Vibe X2 we unboxed recently. It has a crystal case. No, not really a crystal case, but more like a rubberized case to protect your X5 Max smartphone. And we have a SIM ejector right here, manuals, and we have a standard 3-pin charger. Here's the in-ear earphones, which looks premium and looks good. Let's put that aside. And finally, what we have here is the USB cable. A pretty complete package if you ask me. So let's put that aside and take a look at the phone itself. So this is the vivo X5 Max. On the top we have a speakerphone, we have a proximity and ambient sensor, the 5 megapixel front facing camera, and here we have a 5.5-inch Full HD Super AMOLED display which should look really gorgeous. And underneath here we have 3 standard Android menu buttons. Underneath we have a micro USB port, a microphone, and on the top we have a standard 3.5mm headphone jack which is not available on the Oppo R5. So turn over to the side, we have a power button and a volume rocker. And on the side here, we have pretty much nothing else. Very clean. However, on the right here, we actually have, we have a SIM card slot over here, which looks really big. There's a really big SIM tray, which I'm going to eject it right now. Let's take out the SIM tray. So, what's first? Here we go. Oh, wow. In fact, it supports 2 SIM cards on board. This is a dual SIM smartphone. And look at this. It's, in fact, a place for you to slot in a micro SD card slot if you are not using a secondary SIM card. So, which means, guys, you could actually slot in a micro SIM on the phone as well as include a micro SD card if you think that the 16 GB storage is not enough, which in my opinion is definitely insufficient for today's use. Good work, Vivo. However, you should really update your packaging to say that this phone supports micro SD expansion because even on your website you did not mention that. Alright, so let's put back the SIM tray and continue with our hardware tour. So, on the back here, we have a 30 megapixel main camera, an LED flash, as well as the secondary microphone. The back is a very premium feeling aluminum chassis, and here's the loudspeaker with a very huge speaker grill. I hope it is very loud because Vivo is really emphasizing on its hi-fi audio. So next, we are going to start the phone by pressing on the power button. And we are back with FunTouch OS setup, and this is based on Android 4.4 KitKat. Look at that display viewing angle. It's really great. You can almost view it at any angles thanks to a laminated display and the awesome Super AMOLED display by Samsung on the vivo X5 Max. So if we scroll around, it looks pretty smooth on first impressions, but look at these app icons. Don't they look really familiar? We're not going to tell you that, but just guess it yourself. It looks similar to some other software or devices out there. So let's do some swipes. Okay, so here's the notification shade. It's transparent, of course, translucent. So let's slide back up and slide from the bottom. Ah, that's the toggles. Well, you know what it resembles, right? So we're gonna put it down, and that's all for the software overview. It's really smooth and simple, which I find it really fun to use. Definitely suits its name called FunTouch OS. Last but not the least, we're going to do a quick comparison with the iPhone 6. So the iPhone 6 has a 4.7-inch display with a thickness of 6.7 millimeters. So we're going to compare the phones side by side. So there we go, 6.7 millimeters versus 5.08 millimeters. Can you see the difference already? And in terms of design, they are really, really different. On the back, no, it's different. And on the top, it's also different as well. So this is how an iPhone 6 compares to a vivo X5max, looking like a mini smartphone and a really huge looking smartphone right here, which I think is beautiful. It really has a beautiful hardware. Alright, so stay tuned for the final review of the vivo X5max as well as comparisons coming right up on our YouTube channel. Subscribe and like this video if you like what you saw. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Google+, Twitter, and Instagram at KLGadgetGuy, and visit our site to read more tech news, reviews, and more. My name is Warren, and once again, this is the vivo X5max.